Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to today's ceremony. The men and women of the United States Air Force and National Guard gather to dedicate Building 418 as General Craig R. McKinley Hall and celebrate by cutting a ceremonial ribbon marking the official opening of the facility. Today's ceremony is being broadcast live through social media and the Air National Guard Warrior Network. Throughout the ceremony, you will be given cues to stand or be seated at the appropriate times. As a reminder, during the playing of musical honors and our national anthem, military members should stand at attention and render a hand salute, and civilian guests should place their right hand over their heart. The official party for today's ceremony are our hosts, Lieutenant General L. Scott Rice, Director of the Air National Guard, and Colonel Carrie R. Lovely, the Commander of the I.G. Brown Training and Education Center, and our guest of honor, General Craig R. McKinley, United States Air Force, retired. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to our guests who have traveled from afar and our distinguished visitors in attendance today. General Joseph L. Lingell, Chief, National Guard Bureau. The Honorable Mayor Ed Mitchell, Blount County. Mrs. Cheryl McKinley, wife of General McKinley. Lieutenant Colonel retired Larry Anderson, husband of Colonel Carrie Lovely. Lieutenant General retired Stanley Clark, former Director of the Air National Guard. Major General Max Haston, Adjutant General of Tennessee, and his wife, Mrs. Ann Haston. Command Chief Master Sergeant Ronald C. Anderson, the Air National Guard Command Chief. And Brigadier General Stephen Norhouse, Commander, Air National Guard Readiness Center. We would also like to welcome our former and current directors, commanders, and command chiefs of the Army and Air National Guard and the local McGhee-Tyson mission partners. Ladies and gentlemen, please stand for the entrance of the official party and remain standing for musical honors, presentation of colors by the 572nd Honor Guard, the playing of the national anthem by the 572nd Band of the South, accompanied by Staff Sergeant Andrew Hedrick, followed by the invocation given by Chaplain Lieutenant Colonel Michael Doan.
Oh, say, can you see by by the dawn's early light, what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I invite you to join me in your hearts and minds as I lead a prayer. On behalf of this distinguished assembly, I acknowledge your goodness to us, O God. We are blessed in every way. What a privilege to wear or to have worn the uniform of the United States of America, to proudly raise our colors, to live prosperous and free, and to reap the harvest others have sown, so many with their very own blood. We're grateful for this occasion, for the visionary leadership, the resources, the commitment which are coming to fruition right here, and for the opportunities set before us. So we pray for this building and all who enter here. May its rooms and halls be filled with those eager to carry on noble traditions, with those determined to pioneer accomplishments not yet even dreamed of. May knowledge and wisdom abound here, and may it spread throughout creation, so that we and our children will continue to be free. We ask, O God, for you to guard and guide us, to bless this celebration and dedication, and to bless our time with one another. These things we pray because we believe in you. You are our God. Amen.
Thank you to the 134th Honor Guard and the 572nd Band of the South, Sergeant Hendrick and Chaplain Doan. Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. We'd also like to extend a special thank you to the 134th Air Refueling Wing, Lieutenant Colonel Bart Wilder, Captain Mark Thurman, First Lieutenant Sam Johnson, and Boom Operator Technical Sergeant Amanda Walls for that fantastic flyover in honor of General McKinley. The I.G. Brown Training Education Center is the detachment of the Air National Guard Readiness Center and is host to more than 60 different courses serving more than 4,000 students per year from all branches and components of our military. This ceremony marks a historic moment as we dedicate a new classroom and dormitory facility in honor of a former Chief of the National Guard Bureau and former Director of the Air National Guard, General Craig R. McKinley. General McKinley served as the 26th Chief of the National Guard Bureau and represented as the first National Guard member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. In this capacity, he was responsible for ensuring that more than 500,000 Army and Air National Guard personnel were accessible capable, and ready to protect the homeland. It is most appropriate that with this level of responsibility, that the 47,000 square foot facility, which features 2 100-person classrooms and 10 20-person classrooms, high-definition audio-visual capabilities, wireless capability, 97 single-occupancy dorm rooms, and hearing and mobility accessible accommodations be named in his honor. Facility has been rated LEED Silver by the United States Green Building Council and incorporates many environmentally friendly design and construction elements. The building's dedication and ribbon cutting represents a monumental accomplishment for the Air National Guard due to the forward thinking of General McKinley. This venue provides our Air National Guard leaders a world-class, state-of-the-art facility to train and plan for the future. It is now my distinct pleasure to introduce to you the Commander, I.G. Brown Training and Education Center, Colonel Carrie R. Lovely.
Good morning, and welcome to McGhee-Tyson and the I.G. Brown Training and Education Center. I'm excited to be here as the 14th Commander at this great historical event. The one thing that I love about the Guard is we're always melding our history with our future as we adapt to new mission and requirements, and today marks one of those meldings. Nearly 3 years ago, we broke ground on this beautiful building behind me, and today we dedicate it to General R. McKinley as our first 4-star in the National Guard and our first chief on the Joint Chiefs of Staff for the National Guard, excuse me. Exactly. This new facility increases the capacity by adding 12 classrooms and nearly 100 dorm rooms, all of which will be building our future leaders. I'm proud to say I'm part of that heritage. I'm a twice graduate from this establishment. First for NCO Prep back in '91, and then my commissioning in 1993. We now have Airman Leadership School here and NCO Academy here, along with dozens of other professional development courses. So we are continuing what Colonel Morrissey and Chief Lanford had envisioned. In a course of a year, we will have over 4,000 in-residence students from the Air National Guard, Air Force Reserve, active duty, our sister services, as you can see to my right, and our coalition partners. It's a great day for the Air National Guard. I'm glad you're here to celebrate it with us. And with that, I will turn the podium over to General Rice to say a few remarks and introduce our chief. Thank you.
Hey, thanks a lot, Carrie. You have quite a place here. After, almost 49 years of history when this place started as the I.G. Brown Training Center, this is our gateway to bring the excellence that we see so evident in our Air National Guard to the forefront. As we strive for mission first, people always, and get the best equipment now in our Air National Guard, we're honored to have us all here gather with all of the distinguished guests to be a part of this. Mayor, thank you very much for being here and joining us. General Hasten and your lovely wife, Ann, or is that your daughter? I'm still, yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you both for being here and being a part of this as well. We also have some members of our National Guard Association. I think I didn't see him. Is Gus Hargett here? There he is. There he is sitting back there. And then we have the very famous Roy Robinson in the crowd. Where is he? I know he's back there with his lovely daughter, Susan. I mean, his wife, Susan. It's amazing. I don't know what you drink in the water down here, but you young ladies really bring out the best in us. I would not be here without my lovely spouse and her support and what she's doing. In fact, she's in Washington right now. We have a young 12-year-old that is part of a Make-A-Wish Foundation. He wanted to go through the Pentagon and the White House. So with great honor, my wife and I are going to bring him through the Pentagon, the Capitol tomorrow, and through the White House on Saturday. The great thing, thank you. So when we got to be a part of this, it's a crazy thing how things evolve. Our advancements in medicine, he has Crohn's disease. Our advancement in his medicine now, he's off the Make-A-Wish Foundation because he's going to live not only through his teen years, but well into his 30s, 40s, and 50s, and they're predicting a long life for him. And it's incredible what our world of medicine has done, and to see this young man evolve. He's 12 years old. He's a junior in high school, so you can tell he's a little smarter than the average fighter pilot like General McKinley and I, and General Linkell. So he's quite a character. So we're pretty honored by that. But you know, this little thing behind us doesn't happen just overnight. Even though this was a 2-year project, I actually was passing through here right after the groundbreaking, and I was mortified. Because one of the things I loved about this place was to come here and see this green out here. And it was a mess. It was all dug up. They had all the construction around this building. And then to come back here and see this thing behind me, this building behind me, is really inspirational. To think that all the pieces and parts that come together to make this happen. I'd like to recognize from the Air Refueling Wing, Major Dave Barrett. He was the civil engineering project lead. We had tech from the center, the campus operations. We had Senior Master Sergeant William Britt, who's our speaker here as the superintendent, and Master Sergeant Jose Santiago from Services and Protocol that helped be a part of this and the whole project. From Public Affairs, we had Senior Master Sergeant Sean Withers, Master Sergeant Jerry Harlan, and Master Sergeant Mike Smith, responsible for all the press and all the good news that we're spreading about this, including a pretty famous interview we just did earlier with General McKinley, going back in time in our history. We also had Mr. Jerry Barnes and Dave Barlow were responsible for broadcasting support, and I thank you, and I think some of them are in attendance. But the general contractor, Howard Pence, to actually put this all together, and the attention to detail that general contractor had to make everything fit perfectly, right down to the layout of the bricks and the color of the floors. And I hope you all have a chance to walk through the building as one of the pride showcases for the Air National Guard and what we present, and that's the professionalism of our airmen to our force and what this building does. Also, C2RL Incorporated designed the facility along with Elizabeth Easton Architecture, that limited corporation, limited partner corporation, and the Engineering Services Group Incorporated came together with Howard Pence, the general contractor, to make this happen. So please join me in recognizing all of those people that made all of this happen. So thank you very much. You know, Chief Ron Anderson and I are part of the leadership team for the Air National Guard right now, and we're honored that General Linkell and a few other of you had a part in a hand in getting us to the right place at the right time to be a part of this. History is a funny thing, and I think our God has a little bit of humor and twist in his soul that he imparts to us every once in a while. So for 49 years, we've been putting out excellence out of this facility. But do you know, for over 240 years, about 240 years, our partners that are here joining us in the celebration, the Marine Corps, it's really tremendous to see them and see them here at this institution and be a part of this. They have been, as Marines, as I said, since 1775, saving us day in, day out, selflessly serving our nation and bringing us to the finest place in the world. But God, with his twist of fate, asked the Air Guard, hey, just one time in history, can you help us save the Marine Corps and actually get them out of a little bit of trouble? Unfortunately, we had 5 young Marines trapped in an elevator this morning, and the Air National Guard was able to, with great pride and honor, come to the rescue for the first time of a few, the proud, our Marines. Thank you for being here. It's not often we get to do that. In fact, I can never remember the Air Guard saving the Marines. They have saved us countless times. So that's pretty special to have them here with us and allow us the honor to do that at a moment in time. We also have the Civil Air Patrol. They're in class right now, but they're here as a part of the institution coming through. So you can see this is just a small reflection of some of the great things Carrie Lovely and her lovely husband Larry Anderson have done for us in bringing this all together for us. So we've been doing this business in the National Guard for a long time. General McKinley, we're really honored to have you here. I think you might have been there at the first muster, so you don't look a day over 380 years. So we're pretty honored to have you here. Along the way, we're really happy that you got a softer side in your life and you got Cheryl by your side to guide you through all this gauntlet of adventures that we all go on. And you as a team have inspired us, motivated us, driven us, asked us to do things that are beyond what we thought was our reach. So we really are very proud with great admiration for the opportunity we have to put your name on the side of this building and represent the best in all of us. I think this lineup of leadership that is here as directors and chiefs and those general officers that are all here all have a debt of gratitude to you both as a couple, because you've brought us to a place where we are proud of our heritage. We are very proud of our history. We're proud of where we've been, where we are, and we're really looking forward to where we're going. And with that, I'd like to say thank you, sir, General Linkell, for coming down here and being a place and being a part of us in a place and time where we can reflect a little bit, where we can be proud of who we are and what we've done, and you can drive us with excellence into the future. One of the greatest things I found out in taking this role and responsibility was I was going to have the opportunity to somebody I had admired for a long time. Dick Platt and I, he grabbed Joe Linkell and myself and said, you can do it. You can be there. You can make it happen. And I thought there was no way, no chance, no time and place when I'd have the greatest honor to work for you, sir. And now together, as a team, I feel confident that there's nothing we can't handle in the Air National Guard. Our people are the best that we've ever had. They're the most organized, trained, and most importantly, the best equipped because of all the partners, and they're well led because of your leadership. Thank you, sir. And if you would be so kind to join me and provide us a few remarks. Thank you.
So, good morning, everyone. Thanks, Catfish, for the introduction here. Wise move, putting the speaker in the sun. Might shorten the speakers just a little bit. So, General McKinley, it's an honor for me to be here today to honor you, sir, as we do this. The first person I want to recognize is the person to your left, and that's Ms. Cheryl McKinley. I have to add my gratitude to you for everything that you have done to support General McKinley in his leadership roles for his entire career in the Air Force. As a guardsman, as a leader, and for your part in that, this is a team sport. Sally and I see that now. You set the stage for General Grass to follow, and Sally now to follow as a member of the Joint Chiefs, and I want to thank you so very, very much for how you did it with class and elegance and grace, and because of the both of you, we're in a better place now, and I thank you very much for it. Mr. Mayor, sir, it's great to see you. Yes. Thank you, sir, for coming. I have to thank the Adjutant General and his wife, Ann, and the great state of Tennessee for volunteering a building to put General McKinley's name on. I think that's fantastic. All the Adjutant Generals that are here today, I saw Doug Burnett, I saw Buddy Titshaw, I saw the former Adjutant General Gus Hargett. I think that that role and the way, frankly, that I saw General McKinley lead and work and coordinate with the states and the Adjutant General is one of the things I use and think most every day, sir, is that relationship is the most important relationship that I have with the 54 going day in and day out. General Sid Clark, former 1st Air Force Commander and Director of the Air National Guard, sitting next to General Don Shepard and General Phil Kelley, former directors of the National Guard. Larry Arnold, former 1st Air Force Commander, here as well. Acting directors, Buddy Titshaw. I saw Dave Brubaker here. Great men, and I know that General McKinley, he gets the kudos today. He gets the accolades today. I learned much from him, but I know that he thinks that all he did was continue on the great legacy of those who went before him. Paul Weaver, former director of the Air National Guard, saw him back there as well. My former mentors, Dick Platt back there, and other assistants for General Grass, who formed me and shaped me. This is a great day indeed. Chiefs, leaders, men and women, Kerry, thank you for hosting this great thing today. It's an unbelievable activity, and we're proud to honor you. I just want to start off by saying a couple things. I got the highlights of General Craig McKinley. Went to Southern Methodist University, which through my career he has given me a jab every now and again for having attended a fine academic institution of the University of North Texas just down the road. You know, we called SMU. That was the school where all the rich kids went. You know, and a scholarship. And you know, and we've had an amazing relationship, the Titan football relationship that we've had since 1922. The University of North Texas and SMU had played 36 times, and University of North Texas has won 5 of those games. And in fact, the last one they won was about 4 years ago, and the University of North Texas won in the score like 43-6, and the next day the coach of SMU resigned in disgrace. And but I have come to learn and watch General McKinley, SMU is not the place where the rich kids went. Might have been, but it's a place where the smart kids went. And I have learned so much from watching you and what you've done over the past few years that I don't believe I could be in the position I am now without you. So I said I need to learn more about General McKinley in his early years after SMU. He spent a couple tours in the White Rocket as a FAPE in the United States Air Force. And the benefit of that would come years down the road as he became friends and built trust and built relationships with Air Force officers who would be senior leaders in the United States Air Force, guys like Chuck Wald and guys like Steve Wood and others, who, as you ascended to higher positions of leadership in the National Guard, were your friends. And when you needed things, they did trust you because they knew you and they respected you. And that was an incredibly important thing for all of us and for the National Guard that we now have today. You know, and from there in 1980, he rolled in, and I called Buddy Titshaw because I wanted to make sure I got some of this right. Buddy Titshaw gave me some information. I'm sure he didn't give it all to me. I asked him for some dirt, and he didn't share much dirt with me, but he told me about Craig McKinley rolling in as an alert pilot in 1980 with an 8-month pregnant wife with him. Most people have a baby before they leave the active component. You know, this was kind of something they forgot to tell you, and he showed up. And General McKinley, in the next 15 years, went from alert pilot through every senior command position to wing commander until he left in 1996. And you know, General Titshaw conveyed to me that I know the closeness with you two. He said Craig McKinley is the brother that I never had, and I know he was close. And when Buddy Titshaw became the wing commander, Major Craig McKinley was identified as the air commander. And I think to this day we have never had an air commander, the commander of all the full-time force in the Guard, as a major, and not without some concern. I believe people at the time, senior leadership, General Shepard may have been concerned, General Conaway may have been concerned. Does this guy really have what it takes? General McKinley was concerned, but he had what it took, and he began to institute what he did in the Air National Guard as leadership and discipline and professionalism that went on through the rest of his career. And you know, I think in 1996 he left, and he began this senior officer development that was kind of the beginning for us in the National Guard. He began to get experiences that previous senior leaders in the National Guard didn't have opportunities to get. He went and was the commander of Southeast Air Defense Sector. From there, I believe he then became General Weaver's deputy director. I believe he then became the deputy IG for the Air Force. I believe he then became the 1st Air Force commander. I believe he then went to Europe, and from Europe he was where I came into the Craig McKinley orbit. I became a moon around planet McKinley in 2004 when I met him in Germany. And I watched his leadership, and I watched that he was respected, and the forces, National Guard forces, and really all of the components who were doing business in Europe, Craig McKinley shaped and offered and helped provide. To his friend, Chuck Wald, who was the deputy commander of U.S. European Command, and who he had met as a T-38 IP pilot at Craig. And he learned these things, and I learned and watched, and General McKinley then came back, and he left, and I think he was in the programmer shop for a while as the Deputy A8 in the Air Force. And I called a friend down to check some business at UCOM. I was on the U-Safety staff at the time, and I talked to a guy named Mike Timmy, who was a colonel who worked for General McKinley. He said, "McKinley's leaving." I said, "What do you mean he's leaving?" "Well, he came in today, and he said, today's my last day." And, you know, Craig McKinley is famous for being an escape artist. You know, my wife calls it the Irish goodbye. You know, you come to a party and you see him and you hear him and you talk to him and you look around and all of a sudden he's gone. He's out. No one sees him. He's amazing. When it's time for him to go, he's gone, and he doesn't waste a whole lot of time with long goodbyes. But he went and he came back to the Pentagon, and he began at a tough time. You remember this time when had going through BRAC and hard things, and it would serve him well when he became the director. And when he became the director, I applied for and was selected as his commander of the Air National Guard Readiness Center. And that was the beginning of a transformation he led with the staff of the Air National Guard that continues through here today. And in my life, sir, I mean, you know, every officer has men and women who shape their careers, and you have shaped mine. And that every day he was in town and I was in town, we started our day at 6:30 in the morning with a video teleconference with me, myself, and when Sid Clark joined us as part of the team as the deputy director, we came in and we decided what was important that particular day and ran the staff, and it shaped everything we did. And you know, from there, I think it was an amazing thing. And I watched you, and I know you think you just continued on what Killies and Shepherds and Weavers and Conaways and follow-on chiefs have done. But we are today, as I talk to you, the Air National Guard is the most professional, capable force it has ever been. There is nobody saying things under their breath about a second-class service. As I talk to you today, there are 30,000 men and women in the National Guard who are deployed on every continent in this world, in every single combatant command. 9,000 airmen are employed today with real-world mission that are protecting the national security of the United States or protecting the homeland defense and homeland security of this great nation. And they have never been better trained. They have never been better equipped. They have never been better respected. They have never been more ready than they are today. And I attribute that to many of the leaders who are sitting in this audience. Is we became exactly what the Air Force demanded of us to become. We became professional. There was one standard. There was one training. And it was a hard transition. But it was a transition that you held people accountable for, sir. And we're a better country and a better Air Force and a better Army National Guard today because of it. And I watched you. I watched you every day, and I learned much from you. Your leadership, your ability to make teams of teams, and your ability to make people work together and grow together and do things that alone they couldn't do, but together they could. And bring people and friends and collaboration, whether it's tags or whether it's services, to the forefront. I then watched you become the chief, the first four-star chief, first four-star airman, the first four-star member of the Joint Chiefs of Staff. I watched you testify that day against every other member of the Joint Chiefs who at the time I didn't think it was a good idea. And knowing you the way I know you, that had to be the hardest professional day of your life to sit at that table and go against those other 5 Joint Chiefs. But you did it. 7 who were all there. I'm sorry. Sorry. But I have watched it. And because of what you did and because of what Cheryl did, General Grass and Pat Grass were able to take it to the next level. We don't have to show up in a Guard Bureau Gulfstream, the C-12 anymore. We have our own airplanes just like all the rest of them. And we're able to be at the table when important decisions about our force and our security are there. So, sir, it's hot. I know I've been talking too long, longer than I should have. But our Air National Guard and our Army National Guard is better today. Our Air Force and our Army are better today because of that. And I tell you today that as we look across the threats that our nation face, whether it's Russia, China, Iran, North Korea, or violent extremist organizations who will persist to be a threat to us and our way of life for decades to come. The National Guard is going to be a part of our national defense more today and more tomorrow than ever before. And it's because of your leadership. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to introduce to you General Craig R. McKinley.
Thank you. Everybody, please sit down. Great to be with you today. You know, I call, please, we got young men and women out there who are burning up, so I want to make this quick. I call Joe Lengel the Jordan Spieth of the National Guard Bureau because he is the youngest four-star chief we've ever had. So you've got all the Jordan Spieth in you, but you don't have his driving capability. Mayor, it's good to see you. Everybody in Tennessee who runs for office has my deepest respect because I've been around Gus Hargett, Max Hastings a lot, and y'all have a wonderful state. And I don't think I've ever seen politicians who believe more in our military than here in Tennessee. So I'm sure that's the same here. It's an honor and a privilege to be in Tennessee. Max, thanks for your leadership. Ann, thank you. And to my good friend Gus Hargett, you have as much to do with this building, quite frankly, as I do, because you and I plotted and schemed and tricked the Air National Guard civil engineers into believing we could pull this off. And they said, if you can get the money, we'll do it. Well, guess who got the money? Max and Gus. So you deserve a lot of the credit. Scott, thanks for hosting this ceremony. It's always a pleasure to have a guy who went to Rensselaer Polytech stand at the microphone. That's a school where you got to have the highest SAT scores in the world. How you ended up in the A-10 is beyond me. The slowest fighter in the inventory. But that was good. But thanks, Scott, for you and Nancy. Saw them in Great Falls, Montana last week. I know Joe's jealous of your travel schedule. I was jealous of Bud Wyatt's travel schedule. I'm sure Phil and Don were jealous of the deputy's travel schedule. It goes with the territory. The more you're out of town, the less you're a target. So thanks to you. Carrie, thanks. You and your husband are great leaders. We're proud of you being here. You got that Minnesota culture in you, and it shows. And I know we were going to do this on her change of command day. How would you like to have had that schedule? Do a change of command and a building dedication at the same time. So I'm glad we prevailed and moved it just a little further down the line, and it looks like you and your staff are doing marvelous work. I'm going to try to make this short and sweet because I was told by the protocol people I had 10 minutes. Lengel stole all my time. That's normal for him. But I do appreciate these young men and women who are standing so proudly and wearing the cloth of our country for being here. I didn't know we had United States Marines here, but that's pretty cool, isn't it? And nor did Buzz Moses. Yeah, thank you. And to our active duty Air Force and Air National Guard members in uniform, thank you for your service, and thanks for standing out there honoring us today. You know, if General Conaway were here, and he sends his regrets, everybody in here knows that if General Conaway were here, he'd be waxing poetic about this dedication. Really, it was his idea a long time ago to recognize people who had some small part to play in what we do in this business. And so I know he regrets not being here. He's got family in Delaware, but he sends his warmest regards and asks for me to pass that on to you all. Just looking around the buildings here with the names here, I.G. Brown, that is a gentleman I didn't know. Is Colonel Morrissey? Where's Colonel Morrissey? Right there. And I know you knew General Brown, I.G. Brown, and I heard he was quite a leader. And he's titled the first director of the Air National Guard. Now, we had leaders before that, but we can't, some historian here will tell us what they were called, commanders, whatever. But I.G. Brown was the first director from 69 to 74. So this whole school is named after him, and he's a legend, did so much in his military career. He was a police chief, I believe, in Arkansas, so that's a legacy that he brought to the Guard. General Spruance, who most people in this audience know, but the young people might not, Delaware Guardsman, crashed in a T-33, burned up almost, but never quit giving back. General Spruance's name is on the building next to us here, and that's fantastic. Earlier this year, Herb Temple had a building named after him in Washington, D.C. I think, again, at General Conaway's insistence. He gave a MacArthur-esque speech, for those of you who heard it, he gave just from the heart what it meant for him to be in the National Guard and for all the things that he had done and all the blessings he'd received, as the chaplain said, to be in the military service to our nation, but have that special skill of being service to the state and the community, Mayor, so that when you have a fire in Gatlinburg, who do they call? They call Max Hastings' team. And I know he was on the phone all day yesterday, still worrying about how that situation resolves itself. So Max, as the emergency management and his adjutant general, Gus before you, amazing service to the state. John Conaway has a hall, and I'll bet you many of the people in this front row were there when they dedicated John Conaway's building at Andrews Air Force Base. Phil Tilley has a building, a big air operations center down at 1st Air Force. Earned every bit of it, first commander down there. Don Shepard has a building that adjoins General Conaway's building up at Andrews. And it's an amazing facility. I think Larry Arnold has a street named after him. I'm not sure. Or was it a portalette? I'm not sure which one it was. A parking lot, that's correct. I know Doug Burnett will have a building named after him sooner or later, and the state of Florida recognizes him, and Congressman Bill Young and Buddy Titshaw for your leadership in the states. Ed Baca, who's not done a lot with us, another former chief living in New Mexico. Russ Davis, I know we see him on Tuesday nights a lot. Russ has done so much. And then, of course, Steve Blum, yours truly, Frank Grass, now Joe Lingill. Great legacy. Our directors, who are all here, I think we've talked about all. Sid, great work, just back from Saudi Arabia. I know Bud Wyatt would like to be here. He texted me this morning and said, there's too many deviants in Oklahoma. I've got to sentence them and put them to jail that I couldn't be there for you guys. I know there's a lot of other names, but Frank Scoggins, Dick Platt, they were mentors of ours, weren't they? And watching the grilled cheese sandwich situation, there's stories I could tell, but I'm not going to today. Let me recognize really the strength of our service, the strength of our Guard. And that's Lynn Alexander, Rick Green, Dick Smith. Where's Dick? Aren't you at McDonald's? You should be going through the drive-thru at McDonald's about now. Chris Muncy, where's Chris in the back? Ron Anderson, the current. And I'm going to throw Jamie Pacehour in there because Jamie's taking care of me, still takes care of me. But the Chief Master Sergeants in this audience have all earned the right to wear those chevrons. They are what this school, this campus is all about. And now with 4,000 people going through a year that will benefit from their legacies, I wanted to shout their names out because they're very, very important people. Thank you for your service. You know, all the directors of the Air National Guard, except I think Bud and Danny James, are here today. But we've even got Dave Brubaker and Buddy Titshaw, who stepped in when we had gaps. You know, there's never a gap, right? Joe mentioned it. They served. They took the meetings. They took the briefings. They did the budgets. Frank Scoggins came back after a job out west and took care of Platt and me at dinner every night. Have you ever ordered a cheeseburger to hold the cheese? That's what Dick Platt ordered every night at Cheney's. I still don't understand it. I say some things in jest because Paul Weaver and Paul taught me so much as the director. To be a deputy is an important job. I think it's the legacy that we pass on. We may not be able to do that every time, to have someone come in, spend time. I know Chuck Ickes and I were understudies at Jacksonville with Buddy and Doug, but you got to learn the job. It takes somebody to learn from, and thanks, Joe, for those kind words, and Scott. But I didn't do it all alone. Everybody here today in this under the tent helped contribute to that. And then following my retirement to go to the Air Force Association, I think Joe Suter's here, chairman of the board. Jim Ungenass is here now he's the state chair of the Employer Support of the Guard and Reserve. There's so many associations, and Tennessee does it better. They meld them all together. Jack DeRouge, where's Jack? Jack can pull it together better than anybody, former director of the Army National Guard. But quite frankly, we stand on the shoulders of the great men and women who've gone before us. That's the only reason we exist. And the only reason you keep giving back is because you never can repay the debt. And I am so honored and privileged to have this opportunity today. I hope everybody understands this is about you, not about me. It's about us. It's about our service. It's about our nation. It's about our 50 states, our 3 territories, and the District of Columbia. It's all about that. And I'm proud to be here today with my wife, Cheryl, who's been with me for all these years. And I thank her for her service, as we do all our spouses, because we couldn't do it without you. These last 16 years, think of the deployments our people have made, and haven't had somebody stay at home that whole time to take care of the family, to take care of all the things that we do. Thank you for your service. I see Roy Robinson there and his wife taking over from a very excellent president at Naugus from Gus, but it was a seamless transition. We look forward to seeing everybody in Louisville. Gus, you had a great legacy in your afterlife from Tennessee and are still giving back. My good golfing buddy, Mac Fairchild, he takes all my money all the time. That's why I have to keep working so hard on weekends. Got a hole-in-one last week. How many people in this audience had a hole-in-one? Not me. Not many. I think he's had 3 or 4. I don't understand it. It's not right. 134th Air Refueling Wing for that great flyby. Only thing we missed, guys, was a fighter on the boom going over. But that's illegal now, Max, so you can't do that. Yeah, that's right. But I think they were practicing yesterday. They did about 18 passes to get that one pass right. But it was great. To the architect and engineers, this building wouldn't be here, this brick and mortar wouldn't be here without them. It's pretty impressive to look at, and Carrie, I'm deeply honored to be part of this ceremony. Again, Scott, thanks for the hosting. Thanks to all of you. Thanks to these great Marines, airmen. There may be soldiers out there too. I know they're in the audience. We have Coast Guard here, Navy. Privileged to spend this beautiful morning in Tennessee. Thank you for the weather, Max, with you. God bless you. God bless this great country, the United States of America. And let's keep the tradition alive. Let's keep this school, this soil, solidly behind the raising and the education of our enlisted members and their team from all our services. And thank you for your time and your attention this morning. God bless.
Thank you to our official party and General Lungell. At this time, I'd like to ask Master Sergeant Mike Shepard and Master Sergeant Timothy Canan to please come forward to unveil the name on Building 418. We would like to ask all our guests to please stand and help me count 2, 3, unveiling the name. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Thank you. Now, I would ask all our attendees to please remain standing and invite our official party forward as General McKinley performs the ribbon cutting for the building dedication. sir. You guys, everyone ready? Well, yeah. Again, I ask the help from the audience to please help us count down from 3, 2, 1. Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing. We would like to extend a special thank you to the many individuals and organizations that are listed on the back of your program that has contributed to the success of this project. This concludes today's ceremony. Please join General and Mrs. McKinley for a reception inside. You are also invited for a no-host lunch beginning at 12:30 in Building 420, the dining facility. Thank you for attending, and we wish you all a pleasant day.